Hi, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the 36th Annual Leadership Award Virtual Celebration. And I really appreciate you coming on this morning virtually. Let me introduce myself. My name is Franco Finn. And as you can tell, I got all my Cal gear ready to go. What a great day. Looking forward to this wonderful virtual event. I've got all my Cal stuff ready to go, and I'm sure you do too. But I'm very excited to spend the morning with you to celebrate our TLA recipients for 2021 and 2022. As your MC here this morning, I'm going to let you know that we're going to hear from several of our Leadership Award recipients who are graduating this spring, as well as Dr. Mo Budak, who will be sharing their leadership journeys with us as well. And also, this live stream ceremony is just one component of our program today. So be sure to join on the Zoom afterwards and join us on the live stream that will conclude to meet with the other students and also the other alumni here today. Well, thank you again to all of you and all of the Leadership Award volunteers and the donors who make the Leadership Award possible. And also, we want to extend a huge congratulations to all of the leadership recipients who are joining us this morning. Now, we wish that we could be gathered, of course, in person. I'm always got my mask ready to go whenever we go out in person. But you know what? This is great. We're still going to get together, but we're just going to do it virtually to celebrate and, of course, recognize our most recent TLA class. And so I would like now to introduce CAA's new executive director, Susie Cohen Crumpler. Now, upon joining the Cal Alumni Association back in 2008 as its chief marketing officer, Susie immediately began work to reinvigorate the association's brand and also the promotional efforts. Now, in 2016, Susie was named CAA's chief operating officer, focusing on optimizing the organization to meet its mission of course, engaging and inspiring alumni in support of the university. She's also served as CAA's interim executive director since the departure of her predecessor, Chloe Hewlett, in late 2021. Susie, take it away.
Thanks so much, Franco. Greetings, everyone, and welcome. I'm Susie Cohen Crumpler, your new Executive Director of the Cal Alumni Association, and I am thrilled to be here today with all of you. I want to congratulate the 700 recipients of the 2021-2022 Cal Alumni Association Leadership Award. Congratulations. Your innovative, initiative-driven leadership is inspiring and exemplifies the best qualities of UC Berkeley. Recipients of the Leadership Award come from each class at UC Berkeley: first years, sophomores, juniors, junior transfer students, and seniors. All of our scholars bring varying perspectives on leadership and show that leadership comes in many different forms. The unique journeys that our Leadership Award scholars have at Cal are what helps to shape them into future leaders, both at Berkeley and beyond. I want to sincerely thank the alumni donors who make scholarships like this one possible. Their support, your support, is critical to the continued success of undergraduate students at UC Berkeley. Thank you. The theme for this year's Leadership Award is the journey into leadership that our scholars and alumni embark upon during their time at UC Berkeley. All of our scholars and alumni have a unique style of leadership, informed by their own unique leadership journey. These unique journeys are all equally valued at the Cal Alumni Association, and we are proud of our scholars' continued contribution to the Cal community. It is now with great pleasure that I introduce you to the Cal Alumni Association's President, Alfonso Salazar.
Thank you, Susie, and congratulations once again on your appointment as the 13th Executive Director of the Cal Alumni Association. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Cal Alumni Association, I would like to congratulate all of our leadership recipients today. As alumni, we are so grateful for our university experience and so proud of UC Berkeley. I am also proud of our university leader. I would like to welcome our first speaker this morning. She is an advocate for quality and accessible public education, a champion of women's issues, and enhancing the student experience on our college campus. In her time at UC Berkeley, she has demonstrated leadership in fostering community and improving campus climate for all of our students. Please join me in welcoming the 11th Chancellor of UC Berkeley, Carol Christ.
Greetings, and thank you so much for this opportunity to help celebrate and honor the worthy recipients of the Cal Alumni Association's 2022 Leadership Awards. Your efforts and achievements for which you're being recognized are remarkable. To be singled out for innovative leadership among an undergraduate community of some 32,000 students is one thing, but to gain this recognition, to get over the high bar set by 32,000 Berkeley students, well, if that's not extraordinary and inspiring, I'm not sure what is. While I regret not being able to join you in person, I'm particularly thrilled to be included in this wonderful event because it is about more than honoring you, our scholarship recipients. We're also here to help connect you to a supportive community of alumni, volunteers, and donors, key members of Cal's extended family. For me, few things surpass the importance and experience of being part of something larger than ourselves, of feeling a true sense of belonging, of knowing you're not alone during your collegiate experience and beyond. Yes, you each arrived here at this event, at this campus, on your own unique path and journey. You're wonderfully diverse in your interests, origins, and identities. You express and embody leadership in different ways. Yet, so too are there values and ties that you and we all have in common that bind us together in community. And it is community that enables us to take intellectual risks, to challenge the status quo, to thrive amidst an amazing diversity of origins, perspectives, and identities. It is our community, our people, that make Berkeley, Berkeley, and separates us from the crowd. My favorite definition of what constitutes good leadership comes from the World Economic Forum, and it goes as follows. True leadership is exemplified by those who are able to energize individuals and teams, empower, fertilize, and build communities, and recognize and form the talent around them. The emphasis is rightly on others, on the community that surrounds us, and on your ability as a leader to bring out the best in its members, to educate and create cohesion around meaningful change. What animates us as a university is our belief in and commitment to individual and institutional agency. The notion that through the discovery, development, dissemination, and discussion of knowledge, we can make the world a better place. As leaders, you have the ability, the privilege, and the responsibility of facilitating and supporting that agency among your peers. I want to sincerely thank our community of alumni, donors, and volunteers who make this day possible, who do so much for our campus and community. Thank you. And to our scholarship recipients, I want to express our gratitude for who you are and what you contribute to the campus and its community. We know the best is yet to come, and that's a pretty exciting proposition.
Thank you so much, Chancellor Christ. Really appreciate your support here today. Now, normally for our annual TLA celebration, we would be welcoming you to Poly Ballroom for lunch and dessert, but I know we'll get together soon enough in person. We can't wait until that's possible for us to be together again, of course. But while we can't pass you a plate this year, we would like to welcome the Cal Jazz Choir to pass you some jazz.
Hurry, yeah, why not? I could go for something nice. But if you like this cozy place, I know just around the corner. Would you decide to do something special with us? Guess count me in, guys. I really gotta get a bite right away.
Wait up, I'll join you. I can feel everyone's ready for the real meal.
I think I'm gonna have a introduction for a starter. An appetizer maybe before the beat is getting harder. Let's spice it up, let's amplify it. Let it come for peace and quiet. Heat it up, it's time to fry it. Put me on a jazzy diet. I know you're gonna love it. The party here is such a pleasure. Enjoy your dinner, save the dinner. You'll get a full measure. This night is gonna be a lot of fun. What a groovy place, what a dazzling dive.
The turntable is set for 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pass me the jazz, homemade and hot. I wanna get in the groove to the bottom of the beat, so keep it cooking and stomp your feet. Pass me the jazz, all that you've got. Put temptation in my way with a bottle of blues and a flavor of fun. Dig, dig, dig in and dig it. Let's spice it up, let's amplify it. I didn't come for peace and quiet. Heat it up, it's time to fry it. Put me on a jazzy diet. I can't stop loving the smell from the oven. Oh, is it gin to get in the kitchen?
All the cool cats and tell them to bring that fascinating rhythm.
If you're in the mood to play, I believe your wish is the dish of the day. Let's get out of this inner mood. The staff is ready for a swing shift.
A 3, 4, 5.
Come on, pass me the jazz, homemade and hot. I wanna get in the groove to the bottom of the beat, so keep it cooking and stomp your feet. Pass me the jazz, all that you've got. Put temptation in my way with a bottle of blues and a flavor of fun. Pass the jazz, pass the jazz. Appreciate it, celebrate it, elevate it, syncopate it. Pass me the jazz and jam, jam, jam. Put temptation in my way with a bottle of blues and a flavor of fun. Sweet harmony is on the menu. Did not tell you was my favorite venue. I'm in heaven and I want to stay as long as you pass me the jazz, homemade and hot.
A bass line, some moonshine,
Sure is jazz, yeah.
Pass that
Jazz.
Wow, that's amazing. Give a round of applause, a virtual one, to the Cal Jazz Choir. I need them for every morning with a cup of coffee next to me and the Cal Jazz Choir. Just pep in the step right there. I love it. Great job. Next, we're going to hear from some of our TLA recipients for 2021 and 2022. Now, our first speaker is Julio Rabanales. Julio is a senior who will graduate with the class of 2022. He is also an Achievement Award Program Alumni Scholar and was also a Leadership Award recipient in the 2020-2021 academic year. Now, this year, he is a recipient of the UC Alumni Club of Marin Alumni Scholarship. Julio, take it away.
It's my honor to share with you my journey as a leader. Last semester, during the first design activity in a high school architecture workshop I was facilitating, I walked around the classroom and noticed many of the students were not working on the exercise. I approached one group to ask if they needed help. One of them responded, "Why are you here? Why are you wasting your time with a bunch of kids that are going nowhere?" He continued trying to discourage me from helping them, and finally said, I ain't going to college. I ain't going anywhere. You look funny trying to teach us about architecture. This young man did not believe me when I said I came from a community like his, a community where higher education is seen as unreachable, a segregated neighborhood in one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, an immigrant community where everyone's back there and stuck. I really felt connected to his hopeless perspective because many times in my life, I, too, have felt that I couldn't go anywhere. Yet I keep feeling the impulse to move with the crowd behind me. Even though the students still had doubts, I let them know I appreciated them and their time. Growing up in the canal, I always aspired to be on the other side of the canal. The actual water canal divides the wealthy and the poor. Expensive boats on one side and low maintained and crowded apartment buildings on the other. Even though my community struggles, there is always the hope to be on the other side of the canal, a place with more resources and opportunities. But in many circumstances, instead of just hoping for a better future, I had to put in twice as much effort because I realized not everyone will get across the canal. Instead, I have worked hard to help bring those resources. I arrived in the United States when I was 13 years old with my mother and younger brother. My father had passed away 3 years before we immigrated to the US. I was struggling a lot with this loss, but my mother was struggling even more as she looked for ways to feed her children. She decided to immigrate to this country to pursue the American dream, or so I thought for many years, until she shared the stories of extortion and threats that pushed her to flee her homeland. The three of us arrived not knowing a single word of English and without knowing anyone. My first week in middle school was very frustrating. I could not understand anything and felt so disconnected. At home, things were not any better. My 6-year-old brother asked a lot of questions and did not hesitate to complain about his frustration. I felt useless. I wanted to help my family, but did not know how. My mother worked 2 jobs and hardly had any time for us. I wanted to work to help her, but she would not let me. Regardless, I started washing cars on the weekends, and at 15, I got a job as a dishwasher to help pay my family's expenses. In order to learn English faster, I started to volunteer at the community food pantry that in return helped me get English tutoring. I worked 2 jobs throughout high school while playing sports and trying to perform well in school. In fall 2016, I was awarded as the most valuable player for the varsity football team, but shortly after my counselor informed me that I was not eligible to apply to a 4-year university because I was missing certain classes. I was disappointed but resigned myself to just going straight into a job until Ms. Fernandez, a Latina school counselor, helped me apply to community college, where I began my journey towards transferring to UC Berkeley, and more importantly, where I learned to develop my leadership. At UC Berkeley, I co-founded a student chapter of the National Organization of Minority Architects with the mission of providing a platform for minority architects and architecture students to advance their place in the architectural industry, fight social and environmental injustices, and bring unity to a diverse body through shared visions and goals. Due to the lack of minority representation in a predominantly white Western architecture curriculum, student body and community at large inspired NOMAS to establish a high school outreach program where we go to schools with a high percentage of minority students and host workshops to introduce them to architecture. Our goal is to provide students with the necessary tools to potentially pursue an architecture degree, but more importantly, to motivate them to attend college. As a minority, first generation, I believe it is very important to bring awareness and develop tools to fight against systems of oppression through such activism. I don't remember a time when I have not somehow been a leader in my family and community, whether as a teenager supporting our household in paying my educational expenses, a father figure for my brother, or an advocate for non-traditional students to consider college and perhaps even architecture. Being required to take on a leadership role at an early age influenced me to become a leader in my community after witnessing violence, a lack of resources and opportunities, and ultimately losing many friends to the streets. I have a responsibility to help young minorities find their path toward a better future, and now see myself as part of the resources my community needs. And I know I am not wasting my time as long as there are kids who think they're going nowhere. In May 2022, I will be graduating from the College of Environmental Design at the University of California, Berkeley. This was a phrase that kept me going during many sleepless nights full of learning and growth. By now, I have realized what a journey has been to get here. My success is also attributed to many great individuals who never stopped believing in me. So I would like to give a special thank you to the Cal Alumni Association for believing in our leadership. The Leadership Award has helped me in so many ways. Most importantly, it has allowed me to serve a greater purpose in my community. I feel very fortunate to have invested my time at Berkeley in one of my greatest passions, which are to contribute to the growth of others. The Leadership Award contributed to and supported my efforts to become a leader. It provided the opportunity for me to discover and shape my definition of leadership. Leadership means leading others to be successful, but also means being your own leader. My leadership journey is full of stories, some about mistakes and tragedies, others about greatness. I have now ventured on a new journey where I wish to become a spatial activist, a person that campaigns and delivers projects with a focus on justice, equity, and access to quality spaces and services in underserved communities, eventually creating architecture where people can dream, nourish, replenish, express, cleanse, protect, and imagine. Thank you.
Wow, Julio, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Really appreciate that. Really heartfelt. And now our second student speaker today is Mari Constantini. Now, Mari is also a graduating senior with the class of 2022. She's the recipient of the 2021, the California Japanese American Alumni Scholarship, and was also a recipient of the Leadership Award back in 2020. Welcome, Mari.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mari, and I am a graduating senior with majors in public health and interdisciplinary studies. I would like to take a moment to first thank the Cal Alumni Association, administration, donors, and everyone else that makes the scholarship possible. Looking back at my past 4 years at Cal, I found myself in a continuous state of unstable equilibrium, but in a good way. I would never know when going for that one club leadership position that I never thought I would take on would completely change my trajectory and open up possibilities that I never thought would be possible. We're only 8 blocks away from Berkeley's campus in Alta Bates. The East Bay has and will always be my home. My first year at Cal, I remember first stepping foot on campus and feeling amazed by the plethora of opportunities and resources that I now had access to. However, I vividly remember one day leaving Wheeler Hall, struggling to understand why I deserved this opportunity when my peers were working 2 BART stops away at fast food chains. Grateful for all of the support, but determined to share it, I was eager to drive a pipeline of students from underprivileged high school like my own into higher education. I used personal connections from my former high school district, the West Contra Costa Unified School District, and I reached out to Richmond High School students and teachers. I found that the students desired mentorship and that teachers found connections to Cal resources to be useful for their students. I collaborated with my friends in other majors pursuing biology, business, and education while using my public health focused background for an interdisciplinary approach to streamline underprivileged high schoolers from my former district into UC schools, and hopefully into UC Berkeley. As a result, I co-founded a nonprofit sponsored by the Haas School of Business to increase educational attainment in my own former school district. That's to this day offering a robust support system of current UC Berkeley students to high school students. As we speak, there are over 50 current active volunteers providing workshops on personal statements, scholarship support, standardized testing, and one-on-one mentorship to WCCUSD students. After building a solution to help my community, I realized that there is still much more work to be done in my new community in Berkeley. I witnessed the disparity of privilege and poverty beginning in People's Park, only 2 blocks from where I lived, and I grew passionate about social justice and public health. I soon found the Suitcase Clinic, where I would spend my Tuesday nights offering a warm foot wash to our clients experiencing homelessness. I became extremely frustrated by the cycle of poverty and decided to step a role that I could make a greater impact in. Eventually, I became the executive director, where I could create new partnerships with local nonprofits, work with the City of Berkeley for funding, and find collaborative, multifaceted solutions for our clients. The scholarship meant an opportunity for me and my community to move forward, to try new things, and to take initiative. This scholarship has allowed me to act on my goals, act on my dreams, and act on my passions. I've had the chance to define who I am and define the legacy that I want to leave as a Golden Bear, all thanks to you. Thank you so much for your continued support and everything you have done for me.
Thank you so much, Marty. Really appreciate you sharing your story, your journey with us. And now it's my pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker for this event this afternoon, Dr. Morris Budak. Now, as an aesthetic and restorative dentist, Morris, or Mo, as we referred to him, Budak, provided Silicon Valley with world-class dentistry for more than 44 years and also currently serves on the board of directors for the Cal Alumni Association. Now, a graduate of UC Berkeley with an AB in biological field studies, Dr. Budak went on to earn his DDS from the UCLA School of Dentistry and is currently co-chair of the UCLA Dental School's Northern California Alumni Association and recently joined the UCLA School of Dentistry faculty. Now, Dr. Budak was a member of the OSCE committee during all 4 of his undergraduate years, including serving as its president in 1969. One of Dr. Budak's proudest accomplishments was serving as OSCE for 4 years from 1966 to 1970. Welcome, Dr. Budak.
Thank you, Franco, for the lovely introduction, and greetings to all you Golden Bears out there. To repeat, my name is Mo Budak, and I am very happy and honored to speak with such an illustrious group of leadership scholarships and others here today. To all of you joining in today, I want you to know something. While I listened to this introduction, I said to myself, did I really do all that stuff? It makes me remember so many years ago when I was in your position and hearing somebody being introduced and hearing all the things that they had done and saying to myself, how did that person ever accomplish all of those things? Well, I'm going to show you that as you progress and continue to develop your leadership skills, the fine things that you do will automatically add to your background of service. It evolves naturally. It happens organically. So don't think about it too much. And just as they used to say, keep on keeping on. So for this presentation, I have been asked to describe to you my own journey to leadership. And before I start, I want you to keep in mind these 2 key words, strength and leverage. Strength and leverage. Quote, leverage is the ability to apply positive pressure on yourself, to follow through on your decisions, even when it hurts. That's what the great business leader Orrin Woodward once said. In other words, leverage is the power of your strength. And to repeat, leverage is the power of your strength. Years ago, I received some really great advice from one of my dear professors. He said to me, Mo, at first, it is what you know. Then, it is who you know. And then again, it is what you know. What you know is your accumulated knowledge and experience, talent. Who you know is your network, your connections, your friends, your teachers, your mentors, your family. And then, again, it comes back to what you know in order for you to drive your performance and to succeed. So, in this example, the what you know is your knowledge. That is your strength. Then the who you know is your network. That is your leverage. And then you come back to the what you know. And once again, that is your strength. And so now, let me tell you a couple of stories from my own life as an illustration along the way of my leadership journey. Boom! It's nearly 1 o'clock on September 24th, 1966. I am standing in Memorial Stadium, and it is minutes before the Cal-Oregon football game, the first of the season. All of a sudden, I heard a large discharge. Boom! It was the cannon firing off up the hill at Big C, that giant C which shines out all over Berkeley to tell everyone just who we are. Just moments before, our OSCE committee held a huddle deep in the bowels of North Tunnel. It was there that our President, Jimmy Klein, gave the orders of the day and the assignments. Budak, he said, you'll be working the pregame show. Howard Korn and I will be the guards. Then we'll switch out for the halftime show. My first performance as OSCE, I said to myself. I was a little bit scared. You got it, Jimmy asked. Sure, I said meekly. After all, I had just been newly recruited onto the committee, but really did not know what to expect. He said, just remember all the things we trained you in. The OSCE wave, the walk, the rip through the air, the vow of silence. Okay, let's get suited up and get out there and perform. My heart was pounding in my chest from a mixture of excitement and fear. And then I remembered something that my speech and debate coach from high school, Jack Anderson, once told me. Take the fear and adrenaline and convert it to good use. Pour all of that excitement into your performance. Use that found strength, which, by the way, I'm doing this very moment. Okay, OSCE, let's go climb that goalpost. Climb the goalpost, I said. Jimmy said, yeah, for the pregame show, OSCE always climbs up the goalpost, stands on the crossbeam. We'll give you a pom-pom to wave back and forth and use your nonverbal communication skills to show the entire world the Cal spirit. Okay, can do that, but how do I get up there? Well, that's very simple, he said. We take a ladder, we lay it down, you climb up there, do your thing. Okay, I can do that. And then I asked, when it's time for the pregame show to end, you're going to bring the ladder and you're going to let me back down, right? Then Jimmy said, oh, no. That's not what OSCE does. That's not part of his character. You see, no one ever sees OSCE climbing up onto the goalpost. But once they have certain knowledge of seeing him up there, then it's against his character to climb down using a ladder. So you're going to have to drop. Drop, I said in astonishment. Yeah, it's very simple. Just go grab onto the sidebar, lower yourself until you're sitting on the crossbar. Then you grab onto the crossbar, twist yourself around, so you end up hanging it, and then it's just a very short drop to the ground. It works every time. Don't worry about it. Can you do that? Yeah, I can do that. So, the next thing I know, my guards are suiting me up and escorting me out onto the field. What an experience. Almost total sensory deprivation. I'm in a very heavy costume, in the dark. It's hot, it's sweaty, and I have only tunnel vision from 2 eye holes. But what I see out there is a beautiful thing to behold. And in that moment, I am no longer Mo Budak. I become OSCE. My guards laid down the ladder. I climbed up, stood on the crossbeam, held onto the side beam, and danced around and shook my blue and gold pom-pom. Even when I say so myself, I did a great job of communicating the spirit of Cal through my body language. The end of the pregame show arrived, and it was time for me to get down. So I remembered the first part of the instructions, and I sat down, and then my mind went blank because I had a surge of adrenaline pumping through my system. I immediately forgot what to do next. So I said to myself, oh, what the hell? And I just pushed myself off from the seated position. I didn't know that it's a 10-foot drop. Well, you can imagine my dropping with the force of gravity for what seemed like forever, and because I only had tunnel vision, I had no idea where the ground was. All of a sudden, the ground came up on me, and as quickly as the ground came up on me, that in that instant, my foot met the ground, I felt a terrible pain in my right ankle. I lay on the ground, writhing around in silent agony. I could actually hear some children in the stands laughing at OSCE's antics. I imagined Howard and Jimmy thinking that the new guy Mo was doing a pretty good job. until such time as they realized that I wasn't getting up. The head was too heavy, the bodice too bulky, the size 14 Converse high tops made for a very difficult vertical purchase, and I was in pain. Jimmy came running over. "Oscar, you okay?" I shook my head no. We never talk aloud while suited up. "I better get the team doctor." So I delayed the start of the game, and the team doctor came over. He looked down and said, "Son, you okay?" And again, I shook my head, and he said, "All right, somebody, let's take off the head." And again, I shook my head even more vehemently, because you see, the other rule is you never remove the head in public. They managed to find a stretcher and carted me off to the ambulance waiting outside the North Tunnel, and I was transported all the way over to the old Cowell Hospital, which was literally right across the street from Memorial Stadium, and which is now the site of the Haas School of Business. I was admitted to the emergency department, and then during halftime, a kindly orthopedic surgeon who had witnessed what happened from the stands came over, read the x-rays, did the examination, and said, "Son, you're going to be just fine. It's just an ankle sprain," and they bound me up. Relieved, and before the end of the game, I then hobbled my way back to my fraternity house. I gathered my clothing and book bag to escape the scrutiny of my friends. For if they saw me limping around the house, then that would have been a dead giveaway, and my secret would have been exposed. I managed to take a bus back to San Francisco to my parents' home and spent the weekend there to nurse my ankle. And even though I fell off the goalpost, I still gave a good performance, if not an unforgettable one. How did I do that? I drew upon my own strength. I failed, and then I conquered. 1 year later, and after a lot of experience of being both OSCE and an OSCE guard, I became president of our organization. Call it a leadership development opportunity. And as president of this highly secret organization, I was at the time the only connection that UC campus officials had with the OSCE committee. I had to lead. I had to represent all on my own. It was quite a learning experience for a 19-year-old. Well, one day I was faced with having to present to the Office of the Dean of Student Affairs. It turns out that on the previous Saturday, and in a moment of overzealousness, OSCE had behaved inappropriately. As I sat before the dean, I was required to give up the name of the person who performed that show. Learning to be a problem solver and to be responsive, I told the dean that our organization was a secret one, and that by divulging that information, that I would be going against our mission. "I'm sorry," I said, "but I simply will not be able to give you that information." The dean asked again, and again I repeated, "I am sorry, I'm unable due to the secret nature of the organization, and I cannot give you the name." So we hemmed and hawed, went back and forth, and negotiated a final resolution. Finally, he said to me that if anything like this ever happens again, that you, Mo Budak, would be held personally responsible. Well, that was something under the circumstances I had to accept. I agreed, we shook hands, I said thank you, and I was on my way. Of course, at the next OSCE committee meeting, I let everybody know that any further indiscretions would not be tolerated. And from that time forward, I was going to toe a hard line. That was my leadership. What did I learn? I learned to hold on to my strength and not waver from my commitment. I learned to be a problem solver. I learned to be agile, and I learned to be responsive. Successful leadership is not about avoiding the challenges, but about how we handle them when they come. That takes strength. Did I fail that day when I tumbled from the goalpost? Well, let's say that I failed to descend in the conventional manner, and painful as it was, it never deterred me from performing again. I learned to earn my strength and to keep on going. The best part is I learned not to fear failure, which is something I have taken with me for the rest of my life when faced with a multitude of challenges that I have since encountered. My son, Alex Budak, is on faculty at Haas School of Business and teaches a course called Becoming a Changemaker. One of the class sessions is entitled Go Out and Fail. The day's assignment is to leave the classroom, go out on the campus, create an experience in which you will purposely fail, and then come back and report on whether indeed you did fail, and if you did fail, how it made you feel. The whole idea is to learn how to not fear failure. And so the story continues. We cut to 50 years later. It was May 15th of 2018. I was at my doctor's office and he said, "I'm not going to sugarcoat this, Mo. You've got a bad cancer. It's an aggressive prostate cancer." Went the sound on the inside of my head. I was scared, surely scared. I came home and told my wife, and we cried for a few hours, and then we finished our pity party. We had another conversation. We concluded that the only thing over which we had any control was our own mental attitude as we started this unfortunate journey. Everything else was up to my doctors and medical team, the miracles of modern medicine and therapies, the kindnesses of the people closest to us, their prayers, some luck, and hope. Hope, always hope, my friend Bonnie said to me. We would have to dig into our inner strength to wipe out the negative thoughts. Dig to our inner strength to allow ourselves to still laugh. Dig to my inner strength to endure the pain and discomfort of the therapies I would face over the next 18 months. I reached out to my family and friends who gave me comfort. One of my dearest friends said to me, "Well, Mo, just remember, you will always be Oski strong." Boom! Another one went off in my head. Oski strong. Oski strong. Oski strong became my motto and became the motto of my family. My son created a photograph of Oski with the words "Oski strong" emblazoned across the front. That picture still sits on my nightstand. Then I reached out to my friend Howard Korn, my guard and Oski buddy from the day. And I told him about Oski strong. And he said to me, "No, that sounds kind of like a tattoo to me." Boom! Another sound reverberated in my head. I kind of like the idea. And then with cognitive dissonance, I said to myself, what's a 70-year-old Jewish guy doing getting a tattoo anyway? Then I decided that I needed to be agile and responsive. I announced to my family that I am getting a tattoo and that it was going to say Oski strong. And the reason I'm doing this is that when I am in a low moment and I need to find my inner strength, that I would have this leverage tool available to me. I'll be able to look at that tattoo and grab onto the strength it gives me. It's a strange psychology, but I promise you that for me, it really works. I hope you can all see this, but that's my tattoo. That is actually Oski's signature that we all learned to write. If you look closely, you can see that between the two words there runs a scar. That scar was from a melanoma cancer that I survived some 15 years earlier. The symbolism was synergistic. To this very day, I still use that symbol to leverage my strength in times of need. And I am happy to report that for the last 38 months, my body has been cleared of any evidence of cancer, and my doctors are very happy. So are my family and I. Finally, I say to you, dear wonderful audience of leadership scholars, that as you move forward in your lives, I charge you to use your leverage to drive your strength for your own personal leadership and for the leadership in your families, in your schools, on your teams and in your businesses, in your communities, in your states and country, and for that matter, in the world. And so, with that, I wish you all a hearty Oski strong and go Bears.
Go Bears indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Budak, for sharing your experiences and your journey into leadership. I'm sure it was a lot of fun watching you during your years at Cal being Oski, but thank you so much for sharing this story. And I know that you are Oski strong and such an important part of our community here at the Cal Alumni Association. And so next, I would like to introduce Jonathan Morgan, who's the Director of Scholarship Selection and Volunteer Engagement, to tell us a little bit more about the second half of our program. Jonathan?
Thank you, Franco, and thank you all for attending our Leadership Award virtual recognition celebration this morning. On behalf of the CAA Scholarship staff and the Alumni Scholars Program, I'd like to congratulate all of our Leadership Award recipients and thank all of our Leadership Award donors and volunteers who are here this morning. I'd also like to have extend a huge thank you to Franco Finn, such a wonderful MC this morning. Let's send our love to Franco in the chat. Thank yous and clap emojis and all of that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed our program this morning, but as Franco just mentioned, we are only halfway done. I'd like to invite you all to join us over on regular Zoom for a call, a meet and greet, a kind of virtual reception between our alumni and our students. Your Zoom link instructions should have been in an email that you received Friday with your room assignment. If you don't have that email, don't worry. The link to Zoom is going to be dropped in the chat, and we'll be able to get you sorted once you get into the call. We'd like to make, once you log in, there'll be an informational slide that also has all the room assignments there, and we'll be able to assist you in getting into your breakout room. But if you're familiar with Zoom and know how to get into breakout rooms, you just click on the bar at the bottom of the screen that says breakout rooms and select the room that you've been assigned, rooms 1 through 10. We're so excited to see you in a few minutes on our Zoom screens. So thank you so much, and I'm going to hand it back over to Franco.
All right. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Well, that concludes our ceremony portion of our program today. Thank you to our speakers and our keynote. Thank you so much to the students. Really appreciate it. And as Jonathan mentioned, we are excited to see you virtually at our reception at the Zoom link in your reminder email. So check for that. And thank you once again to all of our Leadership Award donors, our campus partners, our student and alumni speakers, and congratulations to all of our Leadership Award recipients, and a very special congratulations to the recipients who will be graduating with the class of 2022. Yes, put those emojis up there, hands up, all that. Congratulations. As we often end these events, we do invite you to join us at home with a huge Go Bears in the count of 3. Are you ready? Let's do it. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Go Bears. Bye, everybody.